Welcome to the Almond Brief, brought to you by the team at Harris Woolf Almonds, your trusted source for the latest global almond market trends. Whether you're a grower or a buyer, we've got the insights that matter to you. The goal of this podcast is to deliver information in a clear, concise, and speedy manner. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. We love hearing from you. Without further delay, let's jump right in.
Welcome back to the Almond Brief, brought to you by Harris Woolf. I'm Chase Higginbotham. Joining us again is Kevin Souza.
How's it going?
Kevin, welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to give you a brief update about the March position report that was just released. We're going to kick that off with talking about crop receipts. We're now at the end of the season. Receipts are trickling down. The bulk of the crop's already been received. Last month, the receipts to date were 2.68 billion pounds. With March getting added into the calculation, we've just crested 2.7. It's small jumps, small gains now going forward, Kevin. Doesn't really have any impact on the market at this point or going forward to the rest of the year.
No, Chase, no, I don't think it has any impact on the market. That 2.7 number, give or take a little bit, is what was expected. It's already been factored in. At this point, I think we can kind of take the receipt talk off the table. It won't have much of a factor going forward.
Very good. Yeah. We're just going to see that number trickle in, a couple million pounds a month going forward. In the big picture, no real impact, but we will move on to the things that will impact the market and can move the needle, which is our shipments and commitments. Diving into the shipments and sales, March brought us total shipments of 221 million pounds and new sales of 217 million pounds. Kevin, kind of what was the expectation going into this report, and then how do those kind of stack up?
Yeah, both numbers, we'll start with shipments of 221 million pounds shipped was within expectation. There were some speculation that it could be a little bit higher just based on the recent sales, but that 221 million pounds is right in line. We're up from 214 million from last month, so we are right on keeping on pace. We're right on track. Sales at 217 million also probably could have been a little bit higher, just based on the field, but still right in line. We're down from 221 million last month, but what we lacked in sales, we made up for in shipments. So we're right there. We're just hovering around that 220 million pounds of sales and shipments each month, and it's keeping this thing moving.
We have that kind of sweet spot of 220, 225 million shipments and sales, and that's what we need to get this crop out. Mm-hmm. At those rates, we'll ship the 2.7 billion pounds, and that'll get us down and keep the carry out at a reasonable level, yep. Around 450 million pounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's been slow and steady for the last few months, and that's what's keeping this market moving. So it's good. It's good, and then we foresee that to keep going in the next few months.
Yeah, I mean, consistency is good. It's kind of a old analogy of slow and steady wins the race. So there was one little outlier when looking at the shipments. Domestic shipments weren't the greatest. Some of the lowest we've seen in recent years. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so the domestic shipments were down. They're at 51 million this month, which is one of the lowest we've seen in the last 5 years. There could be different factors behind it. What we've touched on in the previous podcast is the buying habits have changed than previous years for the dynamics we've already mentioned. But a lot of buyers are buying hand to mouth. They're really only covering their immediate needs. We're worried that it was going to be truly a 2.8, 2.9 crop, and that price would be dropping on the back end. So they really didn't go long where they have in the past. So now that all the information's out there, we're at a 2.7 crop. We know what's left basically to go. The industry's 75% sold. We're on the backstretch that maybe it's time to step in and start covering their needs. Even though prices are higher, they'll have the confidence that it's not going to be 25 cents cheaper a week from now or a month from now. So we'll keep an eye on it and see how things progress over the next couple months. But our hopes are that they catch back up and that we finish strong on the domestic side. Luckily, what we've lacked in domestic shipments, the export market has made up for it.
Yeah, so I think we're in a great spot there. Taking a look at the overall position report, I think we can move into how that impacts the overall market. Kevin, looking at the numbers, what kind of impact do you expect, if any, from this report on the market going forward?
Yeah, looking at these numbers in this report, I think most would consider this as neutral to slightly bullish. For going forward, there was nothing that I saw in this report that would say this market's going to jump up or go down in any significant way. So I think we'll continue to see buyers to still be in the market and sellers to keep selling, and that's based on the fundamentals really haven't changed. We're shipping and selling like we have been, and the buyers are still pretty much uncovered on the back end due to the reasons we mentioned beforehand. So we'll have to see them continue to cover their needs, and California's going to have to keep on selling. So I think we'll continue to see this pace. Hopefully we continue to see this price increase up as we go forward, and supply becomes a little bit tighter as we get towards the end of the year.
Yeah, so not really the data really within this report is going to be the driver, just the overall fundamentals of the industry, strong demand, willingness to sell. I think that's what's going to keep walking things up. Looking at some other outside factors, I mean, tariffs have been in the news feed, both for folks in the almond industry and then throughout the country. So what's the outlook there?
Well, that's the big unknown. It still is. That's a day by day case. Every day we wake up and there's something different. But with that said, overall, besides the uncertainty, good or bad, it hasn't really affected the market too much. Like, we've still seen consistent buying. We've still seen a steady price increase. Demand is still there. That could change on a dime. Like I said, that's the unknown. But as of today, it really hasn't played much of a factor.
Yeah. So I think we'll continue to monitor the situation, but until the impact really hits, it's continue to sell, continue to move product. There's one other outside factor that may have an impact on the market coming forward, and that would be the Terra Nova industry estimate coming out for the 2025 crop. So you want to give us a little update on that, or what you think the impact might be?
Yeah, I mean, that's the first industry accepted, I guess you could say, data for coming for the 2025 crop. It should be released here in the next couple of days, and depending on where that number falls into place, high, low, in the middle, compared to expectation, definitely could have an effect on the market. It will influence it one way or the other, depending on what they come out with.
Yeah. So that's kind of one of the funny things about our industry is the crop size rarely drives the market. The perception of the crop size is the true driver. So, as new estimates come out, the independent estimates, and then once we move into the subjective, objective estimate, every bit of data kind of, gives you a new point, and each one has its own impact on the market. So
100% agree, and this is the first domino that falls. So we'll see what it says when it comes out here the next couple of days.
We'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep you folks informed. I think that pretty much wraps it up for this podcast. Kevin, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you folks watching. If you enjoyed this, please like or subscribe. Give us some good feedback.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chase.